Two friends, a wolf and a snake, were sitting in a cafe and having lunch. It was time to pay, and they came to the checkout. All the people in the coffee shop scattered. And no one wanted to accept money from the animals. That's why they left them and left. People on the street did not leave them without attention either. They scattered to the sides, and cars tried to avoid them. These 2 and 3 other assistants robbed banks. And here's their team. Tarantula is a hacker. Mr. Shark is a genius of disguise. He is famous for having kidnapped Mona Lisa in the image of Mona Lisa herself. And the main decoration of the team is Mr. Piranha. He is fearless and ruthless. The entire police force of the city could not catch the wolf and his team. After another theft, they came home and turned on the news. The news showed the mayor. She said that she considers the wolf team to be losers and she feels sorry for them. This made the friends very angry and they decided to pull off the most difficult crime in the whole world. Or rather, steal the golden dolphin from under her nose. And now the whole team is already in the museum at the exhibition, where the golden dolphin will be awarded. The whole operation went well and the statuette was in the hands of the whole team. But at the very last moment, everything changed. The wolf's false mustache fell off and everyone realized that he and his friends had stolen the statuette. They were arrested. But then the wolf had a plan. He pressed the sting and asked the professor, who was supposed to be given the statuette, to give them a chance to improve. And for the professor to take care of them and be able to fix them. They agreed with the mayor that before the good holiday he would be able to prove that they had improved, then the whole team would be released. The wolf explained to the team that they would become kind only for a while, and then, at the professor's party, they would steal the statuette. And so the first day of turning bad guys into good ones began. Friends did not do anything that did not work out. And when the professor despaired, he had a plan. He instructed a team of thieves to rob, but not a bank or a store. And the laboratory in which experiments were conducted on guinea pigs. Friends distracted the guards and entered the building. The snake could not resist and swallowed all the pigs. But the wolf managed to free them. And now all the pigs are free. But it turns out everything is not so simple. The team violated a lot of laws at once. The governor was very angry at the professor and his charges and said that the experiment was over and she was calling the police. The wolf was able to persuade the mayor to forgive them and give them one last chance. And she gave it. In the evening, the wolf was sitting on the balcony and suddenly heard the kitten meowing. The cat got stuck in a tree and couldn't get off it. The wolf got off the balcony and went to help the cat. It turns out that all this time, while he was lowering the cat from the tree, he was being filmed by a professor on his phone. He posted the video online and people liked the fact that the wolf was changing for the better. The professor said that one day the wolf will have to choose. Either friends or a bright future. The snake heard this and at night, when everyone was asleep, she asked whether the wolf will exchange them for something. But the wolf replied that if something changes, he will definitely tell. And now the day of the holiday has come. The wolf's plan was to replace the golden dolphin with a fake. As soon as they entered the hall where the celebration will take place, all the people began to applaud them and ask them to take a picture with them. This confused the friends a little, but did not stop them. While the snake was trying to find the code to the safe, the piranha sang a song on stage, and the wolf danced with the governor. And now the moment has come when everything was supposed to happen. Well, the wolf could not do it and thus put the whole team. But instead of stealing the golden dolphin, the rest of the team stole a heart-shaped meteorite that belonged to Professor Marmalade. The police realized that they had done it and chased the wolf. They caught them and arrested them again. All the teams shouted that they did not do it, but they were not listened to. Friends asked the professor and Marmalade to let the card go to him so that he would prove their innocence. But it turned out to be more complicated than they thought. The meteorite was stolen by Professor Marmalade. He did it because it was a very huge source of energy. The wolf was very angry at the professor and started shouting at him. At that moment, the professor opened the car door and everyone saw that the wolf wanted to attack Marmalade. Take him and his friends immediately to prison on a desert island. While they were being processed in prison, they managed to quarrel. The snake believed that all this happened because of the wolf. And they got into a fight. Suddenly, a black silhouette appeared out of nowhere. He was able to defeat all the guards and free the team. It turned out that it was the governor. In the past, she was the best thief. They couldn't catch her more than once, and even more so if her identity was established. The whole team was shocked to say the least. And now they are already sailing back on the boat. Diana, the governor, immediately realized that the bad guys had nothing to do with it, and Professor Marmalade was to blame for everything. The mess that happened in prison did not come without a trace. The team did not want to help the wolf and Diana. And they left. Meanwhile, a meteorite was delivered to Professor Marmalade, and he began to set up his experiments. The experience was to fix all the guinea pigs that were freed by a team of bad guys with their power. And the professor did it. Diana and the wolf had already arrived at the house at that time. The wolf needed to change clothes since he was in the form of a prisoner all this time. They were about to leave when they suddenly noticed a hamster with blue eyes and realized everything. In Diana's house there was a secret room in which all Diana's skill was stored, as well as an electronic map of the city. It turned out that Marmalade wanted to steal the money that had been collected since the charity day. And in order to stop him, you need to steal a meteorite. That's what they did. Meanwhile, hamsters seized trucks with money. Wolf and Diana successfully made their way to the professor's house and wanted to lift the meteorite already. When suddenly the wolf saw the golden dolphin completely unattended and decided to hold it. Immediately, he and Diana were covered by a wave of current. And they were trapped by the professor. It turned out that the professor found out that Diana and the wolf would come to him through the snake, who used to be the wolf's best friend. He and the professor left and ordered the execution to begin. And so they begin to descend on a rope to a terrible pit with drills, saws, and knives. But at the very last moment, the rest of the wolf's friends come to help. And a minute later the team was leaving with a meteorite in the car. They thought that if the meteorite disconnected from the system, Marmalade would no longer be able to control the guinea pigs, but everything turned out differently. They put beacons on the cars with the money and returned them to their place. Already approaching the police station, they realized that although the snake is not the best friend, but they can't leave him. And that's why we followed him along with the stone. The professor betrayed the snake and said that he would throw him off the helicopter if the wolf did not give up the stone. The wolf gave the stone, and the professor threw the snake out of the helicopter and flew away with the stone. They were able to catch the snake. But as soon as they got to the ground, they were arrested. More precisely, the whole team of friends turned themselves in to the police. And then everything is even more interesting. It turned out that the snake was always on the side of the wolf, and therefore he replaced the real meteorite with a lamp that stood in the professor's house. Thereby Marmalade took the lamp from the wolf, and not the meteorite. And the real meteorite exploded, and with it all the guinea pigs disappeared. The professor was put in jail. And finally, the bad guys have recognized that they are good.